Hey everybody, Connor here, bringing you another Pokemon card deck profile. This time, since it is almost the run up to the World Championships, as you can see, I'm going to be bringing you a Night March deck profile. This is going to be my predictions for the winner of the World Championships for the Masters division at least. And this is just not necessarily the build that I think is going to win, but this is the build that I have and what I've been playing with and what I think is a very strong build. Is pretty much all Night March decks are the same at the moment. It's just kind of depending on what other tech item cards or support cards you want to put into your deck. So of course I've already got set out here my Night March Pokemon, which are going to be in all of your Night March decks. If you don't already know and you're new to the game, then this is the infamous Night March. You have 12 total Night March Pokemon, 3 different Pokemon with the Night March attack, and you do 20 damage for each Night March Pokemon in your discard pile. We have Joltik, Pumpkaboo and Lampent with 30 and 60 HP on our Joltiks and Pumpkaboos, since those are the only ones we can attack with, since we're not actually running any Litwick to attack with the Lampents. But in terms of other Pokemon that we're going to include in the deck, I'm running one copy of Mew from Fate's Collide. Its ability there is going to allow us to copy the attack of one of our benched basic Pokemon. So instead of giving up a Night March Pokemon, we can attack with Mew, and it requires the same energy. If you really wanted to, you could run basic energy along with Dimension Valley to attack for a single energy. Well, I'm not doing that in this build. And also worth noting, it has free retreat, which if you want to switch into something else, say like a Shaman or something, to do a Sky Return, you can do that. And it also has the attack Encounter, which allows you to just search your deck for a Pokemon. This is actually pretty useful if you do happen to get stuck for some reason, and you can just search your deck for a Pokemon to discard next turn, or a Shaman if you need to draw some more cards in the following turn. And simply because I only own 2 copies, I'm running 2 copies of Shaman EX. This is just our added draw support, which most decks are playing this card at the moment. They're going to be playing it all throughout next format. You just bench it and you get to draw until you have 6 cards in your hand. It's going to be excellent draw support, and you're just going to be drawing lots of cards so that you can discard your Night March Pokemon as quickly as possible, and it's just all about keeping up your consistency. So I know some Night March decks are running say 3 or even 4 copies of Shaman, but I just don't own any, and the upside of actually running 2 is that the most your opponent is going to take from prizes is 4 prizes if they knock out both your Shaman. So it is still kind of a prize game there if you're going for that. Going into supporters, we're going to be playing 3 Professor Sycamore, just best draw, but we don't also want to deck ourselves out since we're going to be discarding a lot of Pokemon, so we only run 3, discard our hands. Means if we have a lot of Pokemon in our hand, we're going to get those in the discard pile and then just draw a fresh 7. Also running 2 copies of Lysander, I'll put him down there. This is going to get us the ability to target down Pokemon if our opponent is building up something on the bench, or if they have a weak Pokemon like a Shaman EX or say a Manaphy EX that only have 110 and 120 HP. And we don't have the amount of Pokemon that we need just yet in our discard pile in order to get those bigger knockouts. Next up, we're playing 1 copy of N. This is just going to be great shuffle draw early game, and it's good disruption later on, because in the later game you don't really need a huge amount of stuff in your hand, you just need energy. So N doesn't really hurt you too much in the late game, and it's often going to hurt your opponent more. But 1 copy is nice just to have. We don't want to run any more than 1 because we just don't need it, and we don't want to be shuffling and drawing all the time. 2 essential cards here in the current format is Pokemon Ranger and Hex Maniac. One's going to shut off all the abilities for your turn and your opponent's turn. Pokemon Ranger is going to be able to shut off any effects of attacks on your opponent's Pokemon. So if they have something like a Jolteon EX, which stops basics from attacking it, then we're going to be able to shut that off. And considering all of our attackers are basic Pokemon, you know, Jolteon would have shut down Night March before Pokemon Ranger was released, but now that it's out, we can easily access it by discarding it early on and getting a VS Seeker to get it back quickly. Also playing one copy of Teammates. Teammates is great because all of our Pokemon have low HP, they get knocked out easily, and Teammates is just like a free double computer search. We're going to be able to search our deck for 2 of any cards, we don't have to reveal them, and we just put those cards into our hand so we can get energy for that turn. We can, you know, get any kind of card that we need for whatever situation that you're in. And one other potentially unusual card is Delinquent. You'll see later on I'm also playing Red card, but Delinquent is actually pretty useful later on in the game. If you don't really have a huge amount of cards that you need to play, you're just attacking over and over, you can also play a Delinquent during that time to just kind of set your opponent back and kind of reduce the chances that they're going to get knockouts on you because you're just attacking so quickly. Plus, if you really need to get a Delinquent going on your first turn, you can do that as well, and it will hopefully slow your opponent down a little bit. I know, you know, if someone uses a red card or Delinquent against me, I've never enjoyed it. It's never a fun thing to happen to you. It always causes disruption. So just having those one-tech cards for that little bit of disruption is going to be useful. And of course, down here playing 4 copies of VS Seeker just to get back all of these supporters. We're playing lots of one-tech supporters because we're going to be able to discard them very easily. So obviously 4 VS Seeker goes hand in hand with all of the supporters. Now to get into the main engine, as you will, of the deck, we're playing 4 copies of Battle Compressor. You can discard up to 3 cards from your deck. They just go straight into the discard pile. So we can discard our Night March Pokemon, you know, go for 3 Lampents turn 1 with your first compressor. And then once you go through your Night March Pokemon, you're going to want to discard some of your other not so useful supporters, such as your Delinquent and your Teammates and your N, so that you can use them later on. And of course we're playing 4 copies of Ultra Ball, so that we can search out any Pokemon that we need, discard things from our hand that we don't need, like supporters and Night March Pokemon. Very simple. And another simple card is 4 copies of Trainer's Mail. You get to look at the top 4 cards of your deck and then choose a trainer card that you find there, or if you don't want to, you can just shuffle them back in. This is great for your consistency. I highly recommend playing 4 copies to maximise your consistency. Just drawing into your Battle Compressors as soon as possible, drawing into your Ultra Balls as soon as you can. It's really going to help out with your consistency and getting everything that you need as quickly as possible. And we're also playing 4 copies of Puzzle of Time. So if you play 1 Puzzle of Time, you get to look at the top 3 cards of your deck, rearrange them, put them back. Or if you play 2 at a time, which is the main effect that we're going to be looking at, you get to take 2 items, or not items, but cards out of your discard pile. So just like how Teammates, after a knockout on your side, you get any 2 cards from your deck. 2 Puzzle of Time at the same time, you get to take 2 cards out of your discard pile. So we're going to be able to get like a Night March Pokemon and an energy, or an energy and Dimension Valley, whatever we need during that turn, you can get it back. And also, if you only have 1 in hand and you're about to Sycamore, or I don't know, something like that, you can always just play it to rearrange the top 3, but you're going to draw past that anyway, so it's not really relevant. Also, going into the more tech item cards, playing 2 copies of Fighting Fury Belt. It's going to buff your HP, but you know that's not really that relevant because all of your HP is low anyway, so the most it's going to buff it to is 100. But really the 10 extra damage is actually pretty useful, since 8 Night March Pokemon in your discard is 160 damage, but with Fighting Fury Belt it makes 170, which is crucial for hitting the perfect numbers on EXAs to get just the right knockout. But since so many people are playing Fighting Fury Belt, we're going to play Startling Megaphone, just the 1 copy, so wait until your opponent has played as many tools as they can, and you wait for the opportune moment to play it. Just discard all of those tools. And also playing 1 Buddy Rescue. I've seen, looked at a couple of lists as I've been putting mine together, and a lot of people have been striving away from cards like Buddy Rescue and Revive, things like that. But I think it's mainly because of the puzzle of time and the teammates. But what's really good about Buddy Rescue is that you can get a Shaman out and just play it, just to draw extra cards if it's been knocked out or you've discarded it for whatever reason. And yeah, it's going to help you in the long term, in my opinion anyway, because you can just take out, say your Mew gets knocked out, you can take that out and use it again. It's very useful. Also playing 1 Special Charge from the newest set as well, so just like Pokemon Ranger. Special Charge is also from Steam Siege. You get to shuffle up to 2 special energy from your discard pile into your deck. This way you can get back your double colourless if you don't have any Puzzle of Time just readily available. But if you do, you can get up to 3 special energy from your discard pile back into your deck, just if you need it, but usually that's not the case. It's just if you don't have any Puzzle of Time available. Like I mentioned, we're going to be playing 1 red card just to cause some disruption on our opponent's side, and also 1 town map. Since we're taking multiple prizes, or that's what we aim to do against EX decks, town map's going to be really useful in getting those prizes and seeing where our double colourless are. If we've prized battle compressors, prized night marchers, we can get those out very easily with town map. And we're playing 1 escape rope, just to switch. I've chosen escape rope over floatstone just for the reason that floatstone you can only attach it to 1 Pokemon, whereas escape rope you can switch into whatever you like. I didn't really like the fact that floatstone would be stuck on that 1 Pokemon. As for stadiums, although I'm primarily attacked with Mew using Joltik's attack, we're still playing 3 copies of Dimension Valley just to reduce the cost of your Psychic Pokemon's attacks by 1, and it's a good counter stadium as well. And of course playing 4 copies of Double Colourless Energy, all the energy that you need to attack with Night March, and you're just going to be aiming to get constant knockouts with this deck. And hopefully this is giving you some good ideas into tech cards that you may want to use. This deck is extremely powerful with new cards from Steam Siege. It's hopefully giving you an insight into what might happen at Worlds, or what kind of deck you might want to use if you're going. Be sure to subscribe to my channel to check out more videos like this coming soon, and like this video if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next video.